Alright, so we've got some curtains, and today I'm going to show you step by step how to turn curtains into a pair of pants. Let's do it. Now, first and foremost, we're going to need a pattern to make our pants. The quickest, easiest, cheapest way I've found to make a pattern: go to your thrift store, find a pair of pants that fit you the way you like, take them home and seam rip them into their individual panels. Now let's start cutting it out. Now, a good tip when we're laying out our pattern to cut out our pieces, we're going to use this hem that's already here from the curtains as the hem for the pants, so we only have to hem the waistband. Alright, now that we have our panels cut out, we can set those aside, and then with our extra material, we're going to cut out some pockets. Now, you can measure pockets that you already have. You can kind of just send it and see what you like, but usually I'll use the width of my hand like this. I'll lay it down and I'll add about 2 inches on both sides. So we need to cut out 4 of those in total and 2 sets that mirror each other. Alright, so now we have our 4 panels for our pants, and we have our 4 pockets. Like I said, they both mirror each other. So I've got 2 that go this way and 2 that go this way. They are directional. So now we're going to set out our pants and get our pockets going. So now that we have our pant panels laid out, on all 4 of these, we're going to pin our pockets. Now, you can mess around with the length that you want to do from the top of the waistband, but I usually go with 4 inches. It's a safe bet. So I'm going to go 4 inches from the very top, right there, and I'm going to take a pocket panel face down, and you can either pin it or clip it, and we're going to repeat that with all 4 of them. Alright, so now that we're ready to sew, we're going to take all 4 of these panels with our pockets, right sides facing each other, and we're going to sew that down. 1/4 inch seam allowance, whatever you're comfortable with. So now that we have that sewn, we're going to take it and flip it open, and we're going to fold it on top of itself, so we've got a nice thin seam right there, and we're going to top stitch that. Okay, so now that we have that done, it should look like this. It's kind of hard to see, but we've got a nice top stitch right there. No raw edges, and our pocket is going to be sitting comfortably on the inside like that. Now all we're going to do is repeat with the other 3 of them, and we'll touch back in a second. So now that we have our pockets sewn on like that, we should have 2 front pieces and 2 back pieces. An easy way to tell them apart is the front pieces are going to have a smaller of a hook right there, and then the back pieces are going to have a bigger hook right there. So we're going to take our 2 front pieces, and again, since we mirrored them from the start, they should be mirrored now, and we're going to take that hook, boom, and we're going to sew it all the way to the top, and this is going to create the seam that's right here on our pants. So we're going to do that for the front and the back. So now that we've done that, we should have 2 pieces that are looking like this, starting to look a little bit more like pants. And our next step is going to be sewing these 2 pieces together. So we're going to throw down one of the 2 pieces, it doesn't matter, and we're going to make sure our pockets are nice and open, and we're going to pin them together. So now that we have both sides pinned together, right sides facing each other, we're going to take it back to our sewing machine, and we're going to sew down, and then once we get to our pockets, we're going to sew around this pocket, and then continue our leg down, and we're going to go do that on both sides, and then we'll touch base again. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we should have both sides sewn. And you can stick your hand in there and feel that whole pocket should be sealed up. And we just made a very simple, easy pocket. Now our next step is we're gonna do our inseam here. And we're just gonna take this joint right here and this joint right here. And we're gonna line them up, sew down one side, sew down the other. And that way it's gonna keep it even and make sure we're not pulling fabric too far to one side. You can sit down and pin this out. I'm comfortable sewing it just with lining it up. Do as you're comfortable with. So now that we've sewn that inseam, we should have a complete pair of pants except for our top waistline. Now with our waistline, I'm just gonna do a simple hem. I'm gonna take it about an inch down and I'm gonna double roll it as such because I'm gonna do a drawstring waistband to make this fit a lot more people than normal. So I'm just gonna go around and do that double rolled hem at about an inch. You can measure it, you can do all of that kind of stuff. Again, I'm just comfortable with rolling it. I've had a fair amount of practice, but that's our next step. So now we have our pants still inside out, and we've got them double rolled for our hem. So we're gonna go and we're gonna sew a line on this side, and then we're gonna sew a line around that side. So now we turned them right side out. We have a complete pair of pants. We've got the top hemmed, the bottom we didn't have to worry about because we used the hem from the curtains. Here's how our pockets look with that method that I used. And our next step is going to be, we're gonna find the front of our pants, which is gonna be that smaller J like I talked about. And we're gonna snip 2 holes on here and here, and we're gonna run a string or shoelace or whatever you have through there to create the drawstring. Since we created that hem and we double rolled it, we now have a channel in there, and once we snip our 2 holes to put our drawstring through, I like to just tie a nice little knot on the front right there, and then we're gonna take a safety pin and we're gonna pin it into our string, and with that hole we snipped, we're just gonna sit down, take our time, and we're gonna feed this safety pin all the way through and around into out on the other side. And that's it. You have just created a super simple pair of pants, drawstring, so the waist is adjustable to different sizes. Again, this is a very simple version of how to make pants. There's a lot more in-depth ways. You can do flies, you can do all sorts of stuff, but this is just a simple, replicable way to make pants. So let's style it up and see how it looks.